The shocking truth. Picture this. You're working hard, paying your bills, saving when you can. You think you're doing okay. Maybe you've got a decent job, a car that runs, a roof over your head. But here's the truth nobody wants to talk about. Living what we call the American dream now costs over $5 million. Not $5,000, not $500,000, $5 million. And if you're earning an average income, you'll fall more than $2 million short, even with a college degree. So let me ask you this, is the American dream dead, or has it just become too expensive for most Americans to afford? Today, we're breaking down exactly where that $5 million goes, why it matters, and what it means for your future. Let's dive in. If you want to understand who really moves the money, who shapes the economy, and who controls the future, subscribe to Global Ledger. Like this video, share it forward, and leave your thoughts below, because every comment keeps the story and the truth alive. The original American dream. First, let's go back to where this all started. The term American dream was coined in 1931 by a writer named James Truslow Adams. In his book Epic of America, he described it as a simple but powerful idea that every person in the United States could build a better life through hard work and opportunity. A land where life should be better, richer, and fuller for everyone, he wrote. Back then, the dream was modest: a steady job, a small house, maybe a car, food on the table, the chance for your kids to do better than you did. Fast forward to 2025, and that dream has exploded into something almost unrecognizable. It's no longer about survival or stability. Now the dream includes owning a home, retiring comfortably, sending your kids to college, taking annual vacations, having health care, getting married, buying new cars, even owning pets. And all of that, it costs over $5 million across a lifetime. So how did we get here? Let's break it down, category by category. Retirement, $1.6 million. Let's start with the biggest expense, retirement. To retire comfortably in America today, you need approximately $1.6 million saved up. Why so much? Because once you stop working, you still need to live, and living isn't cheap. The average American over 65 spends about $64,000 per year. That's on housing, food, healthcare, transportation, the basics. Now multiply that by 20 years of retirement. Even accounting for inflation at 2.5% annually, you're looking at $1.6 million. But here's the problem. Most Americans don't have anywhere close to that. According to recent data, the median retirement savings for Americans nearing retirement age is under $200,000. That's less than 15% of what they actually need. Think about that, 15%. So what happens? People work longer, they cut back on expenses, they rely on Social Security, which pays an average of less than $2,000 per month, and many run out of money before they run out of life. Retirement alone eats up nearly a third of the American dream budget, and we're just getting started. Healthcare, $414,000. If you want access to quality healthcare throughout your adult life, from age 22 to 85, you'll need about $414,000. That's for one person, just one. Why so expensive? Because healthcare costs in America have been rising at 5 to 6% annually for the past 20 years. That's far faster than wage growth or general inflation. Health insurance premiums keep climbing, hospital care costs more every year, pharmaceuticals? Don't even get me started. And here's the real kicker, long-term care. If you need a nursing home in your later years, it now costs over $100,000 per year. Most families can't afford that. Most individuals definitely can't. In our survey, 86% of Americans said access to quality healthcare is essential to their version of the American dream. But affording it? That's a different story. Home ownership, $957,000. Now, let's talk about the cornerstone of the American dream, owning a home. In 2025, buying and paying off a median-priced home will cost you nearly $1 million. Here's how that breaks down. The median price for a single-family home in America now is about $415,000. That's the purchase price. But you're not paying cash, you're getting a mortgage. And with a 30-year fixed mortgage at today's rates, around 6.7%, you'll pay nearly double the original price by the time the house is paid off. Add in property taxes, homeowners insurance, and basic maintenance, and you're looking at close to $1 million over the life of the home. And that's assuming you only buy one house in your lifetime. Many people move, upgrade, or downsize, which drives the cost even higher. Despite all this, 85% of Americans still say home ownership is part of their dream, but it represents security, stability, a place to call your own. But with prices rising faster than wages, that dream is slipping further out of reach for millions of Americans every single year. Raising kids and college, $876,000. If you want to raise 2 kids and send them to college, you'll need $876,000. Let me repeat that, nearly $900,000 to raise 2 kids through age 18 and pay for their college education. Here's where that money goes. From birth to age 18, childcare alone costs a fortune. Infant care, toddler care, preschool, before and after school programs, summer camps, it all adds up. For 2 kids, you're looking at $650,000 just to get them through high school. Then comes college. The average cost of sending 1 kid to a 4-year public university in-state is about $115,000. That's tuition, fees, room, board, books, everything. For 2 kids, $230,000. And that's assuming they go to a public school. Private universities, you're looking at double or triple that amount. College costs have risen nearly 5% annually over the past 2 decades. That's faster than inflation, faster than wage growth, faster than almost any other expense in the American budget. 78% of Americans say raising a family is part of their dream, but affording it, that's becoming harder every year. Buying cars, $900,000. Let's talk about transportation. If you want to buy new cars throughout your life, 2 cars replaced every 10 years, you'll spend $900,000. That's not a typo, nearly $1 million on cars. Here's how it adds up. The average price of a new car today is $42,000. If you finance it at current interest rates, around 6.7%, over 5 or 6 years, you'll pay nearly double the original price by the time the car is paid off. Add in insurance, full coverage insurance costs about $2,500 per car per year. Add maintenance, oil changes, tire replacements, brake jobs, repairs, that's another $900 per car per year. Now, multiply that by a lifetime of car ownership from age 22 to 75, and you're looking at $900,000 for a 2-car household. 72% of Americans say having the financial flexibility to buy new cars is part of their dream. But with car prices, insurance, and maintenance all rising faster than wages, that dream is getting more expensive every year. Getting married, $38,000. Now, let's talk about weddings. The average cost of a wedding in America today is $38,000. That includes the ceremony, the reception, and the engagement ring. Interestingly, this is one of the few categories that actually got cheaper since last year. In 2024, the average wedding cost was over $44,000, so there's been a slight drop. But $38,000 is still a massive expense, and for many couples or their families, it's a financial burden that takes years to pay off. 55% of Americans say having a wedding is part of their dream, but is a one-day event worth nearly $40,000? That's a question more people are starting to ask. Owning pets, $39,000. If you love animals, this one's for you. Owning just 1 dog and 1 cat over your lifetime costs about $39,000. That's assuming the dog lives 13 years and the cat lives 11 years. What drives the cost? Veterinary care, pet insurance, food, boarding, grooming, toys, supplies, and those costs are rising fast. Vet care in particular has gotten significantly more expensive in recent years. 66% of American households own pets, and 66% of survey respondents said owning pets is non-negotiable. For many people, pets are family, and like any family member, they come with costs. Annual vacations, $180,000. Finally, let's talk about vacations. Taking one vacation per year from age 22 to 84 costs about $180,000 over a lifetime. That assumes an average vacation cost of about $2,900 per year. For 71% of Americans, an annual family vacation is essential to living the dream. It's a chance to relax, recharge, spend time with loved ones, and create memories. But it's also expensive, and with inflation driving up the cost of flights, hotels, and activities, vacations are becoming a luxury fewer families can afford. The math doesn't add up. So let's add it all up. Retirement, $1.6 million. Healthcare, $414,000. Homeownership, $957,000. Raising kids in college, $876,000. Buying cars, $900,000. A wedding, $38,000. Pets, $39,000. Vacations, $180,000. Total, over $5 million. Now here's where it gets depressing. The average American with a bachelor's degree will earn about $2.8 million over their entire working life. That's $2.2 million less than the cost of the American dream. Even if you have a college degree, you'll fall short by more than $2 million. To actually afford the American dream today, you need to be part of a dual-income household where both partners have college degrees. And even then, it's tight. For single-income households, for people without college degrees, for families living paycheck to paycheck, the American dream is mathematically impossible. Is the American dream dead? So what does this all mean? Is the American dream dead? I don't think it's dead, but it's definitely changed. The dream described in 1931, a stable life, a modest home, the chance for your kids to do better, that dream is still achievable for many Americans. But the modern version of the dream, the one with the big house, the new cars, the annual vacations, the comfortable retirement, that version is out of reach for the majority. And that's a problem. Because when the dream becomes impossible, people stop trying, they stop saving, they stop planning, they stop believing things can get better. We're seeing that now. Younger generations are delaying marriage, putting off having kids, giving up on homeownership, not because they don't want those things, but because they can't afford them. The costs have risen, the wages haven't kept up, and the gap keeps growing. What can you do? So what can you do? First, define your version of the dream. You don't need all 8 categories. Pick the ones that matter most to you. Maybe you skip the new cars and buy used. Maybe you choose a smaller home in a less expensive area. Maybe you take fewer vacations but make them count. Second, start planning early. The earlier you start saving for retirement, the more compound interest works in your favor. The earlier you budget for kids or a home, the more prepared you'll be. Third, educate yourself about money. Learn about investing, understand taxes, build multiple income streams if you can. And finally, remember this. The American dream isn't about hitting every single milestone. It's about building a life that feels meaningful to you. $5 million or not, that's something worth pursuing. Thanks for watching. If this video opened your eyes, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the economics of everyday life. See you in the next one.